Well, it's an interesting year so far. Again, put yourself in an investor's position. A guy who buys well at low risk, high reward levels, proper entry levels on any given market. But look at what's happened, and you look at your markets every year, let's say, not every week. But anyway, as of the end of last year to date, the S&P is now down 16%. Okay, that's not too good. NASDAQ 100, the leader index, is down 24%. Now, not to toot our horn here, but MSA called those tops shortly after the highs, not a few percentage off the highs. So we're quite bearish long term, not just a downside trade. But then there's other markets that are also critical, especially to the Fed. It's muni bond market. Right now, the muni bond market is at a level that if it closes the month here, it will close below all monthly closes going back to 2014. Okay.
Wow.
That's a popular investment medium, okay?
Yeah.
High-yield corporate debt market, pardon me, is if it closes the month where it is now, it'll close below all monthly closes since 2009.
Wow.
There's only the bare lows of 2009 were lower than where it is now. So high-yield corporate debt is imploding. Now, that's just so far, 4 to 5 months into the year, 4.5 months into the year. Now, also the TLT, which is the ETF of the long-term government bonds, net on the year is down 21%.
Wow.
Okay, so these are all major portfolio asset categories. They're imploding. The Fed is not causing a collapse in commodities. Commodities are up 20% on the year right now so far. And even gold, which is now being dragged down, admittedly, by the collapsing stock market, is only barely up on the year, 0.8%, in fact. It's still up on the year, though. Okay, so relatively speaking, it's hanging in there. The question we have at MSA is, are we going to replicate one of the two isolated events of, as far as I'm concerned, in the last century, where gold has collapsed briefly with a sharp drop in the stock market? Now, these two instances in everybody's mind, of course, March of 2020, everybody remembers that. It was just yesterday, okay? We had a collapse into late February, early March of 2020, where the S&P dropped 35% in a matter of about 3 or 4 weeks. Gold finally, in the latter part of that break, joined in with a sharp drop, much less than that. It was about, I think, about 15%. But still, it had a collapse. When we hit that low in March of 2020, gold was back to its high within 7 trading days. It went from 1,700 to 1,450, and within 7 trading days was back at 1,700. It took the S&P 5 months to grind its way out of the March low to re-achieve the highs it had just before that collapse. Why did gold explode when the S&P was still in the hole in that instance? Well, it knew what was coming. I put quotes around knew. It knew. What did it know? It knew that the central bank was going to go ape because of what had happened to the equity markets and other markets that the Fed deems important, municipal bonds, high-yield corporate debt, for example. So it did go berserk. The Fed, its balance sheet exploded, the money supply exploded like we've never seen, and sure enough, the S&P gained from that, but so did gold. Gold went from, 1450 low in March of 2020 to over 2,000 by August of 2020. How come gold knew that? Because it is an anticipator of central bank lunacy. Okay, let's go to the other instance. 2008 bear market. We peaked in 2007 on the S&P. 2008, by October of 2008, the S&P finally had a collapse leg. It didn't just go down incrementally. It dropped 35% in a matter of several weeks. At that point, gold was at $925, and it suddenly said, I'm going to join in. It dropped to 681 in a matter of several weeks, joining the stock market late, and then turned around and made new highs by February of the next year. Meanwhile, the S&P was continuing down until March of the next year. How come gold turned up from that sharp vortex low and went back to its highs very rapidly? What was its encouragement? It knew what the Fed was going to do. And sure enough, after that low in the stock market, the 2008-9 low, the Fed embarked on its QE programs and all that nice stuff they conjured up. Gold knew it was coming. Okay, here we have now a new situation, and I'm not even sure we're going to have a sharp vortex-type situation, a low in gold and a sharp break in the stock market. Stock market might just layer its way down. But right now there's a fear out there, we're going to crash. Okay. Well, we're not sure of that because the short-term factors on gold right now don't quite accommodate that notion. Now, there's some levels below in gold that if we hit them, we'll be open to that possibility that we could get another vortex-type drop in gold and the stock market, et cetera. We're not there yet. You have to go down to about 1820 before we start to think that's viable.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information. And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
I have bad news for you. If you're not rich by now, you're screwed. And if you're in debt, you're even double screwed. How so, you might wonder? Well, the sad truth is that you're working your whole life to make someone else rich. The mega corporations, the banks, the politicians, everyone is getting richer. They get your money. And what is even worse, they get your time, they get your life. You are not even in a rat race, you're in a financial prison. But what could a solution for you look like? Honestly, I don't know, but I know what a solution for me would look like. It's very simple. I use whatever money I have and I multiply it with 1,000. This could make my life much easier and probably yours as well. If you have $1,000 available and multiply this with 1,000, I believe that this could solve some financial issue for the one or the other. Of course, if you're ugly, you would have to multiply it with much more than 1,000. My name is Markus Dahn, and this is what I decided to do. I decided to 1000x my money. This is not a joke. I know what you may be thinking. What is this guy talking about? How should this work? This is not possible. Well, I made a detailed video where I laid out my plan. And some clever folks might even want to look at this plan and copy it and do exactly what I do. This is just a little hint on the side. You have two options. You leave, you forget what you have seen. You do whatever you're doing and you hope that somehow you get some other results. Good luck with that. Or you click the link below the video. You enter your email address because I'm not showing this to everybody. You at least watch my video on how I plan to 1000x my money. The choice is yours. Make the right choice. Join me. See what a different future you could have. See at least how I plan to do the 1000x. So click on the link below, enter your email address, and I see you on the other side. Your Markus Dahn.